One of the biggest unanswered questions in multiple sclerosis is pretty simple to explain. We've become much better at preventing new inflammatory damage, but what about repairing the damage that's already there? And this week, there's another interesting development in the race to remyelinate the nervous system. Researchers in Germany are developing a transdermal patch designed to deliver a very low, steady dose of a drug called theophylline. Theophylline isn't a new drug. It's actually an older medication that's been used for respiratory conditions such as asthma and COPD. But researchers at Johannes Gutenberg University Mainz have been studying whether those low doses of theophylline could potentially help promote myelin repair. And now they're trying to turn that research into something that could eventually be treated in people. The idea behind the patch is important. Theophylline can cause side effects at higher concentrations, so instead of giving a larger dose all at once, researchers are developing a patch that could release a low and a concentrated amount of the drug through the skin over several days. The project is now moving through additional development work, including optimizing the patch, producing it under pharmaceutical manufacturing standards, and preparing for a phase 1 clinical trial. There's a very important distinction here. This dose does not mean measurements have shown a patch can remyelinate people with MS. They haven't. The first planned human study is expected to involve healthy volunteers. At this stage, researchers are mainly asking questions like, can the patch reliably deliver the drug? Is it tolerated? Does it irritate the skin? And can researchers achieve the concentration they're aiming for? Only after these questions are answered can you start moving toward the much bigger question of whether this approach actually helps repair myelin in people with MS. And what caught my attention about this story is it's not happening in isolation. If you've been following Just MS News lately, we've covered a surprising number of different approaches to remyelination. Recently, we talked about lucid MS, a completely different strategy involving a drug designed to inhibit an enzyme called PAD2. Its phase 2 program in progressive MS has been cleared to move forward. We also talked about artificial axon labs. They're trying to build laboratory environments that more accurately reproduce what damaged nervous system tissue looks like in MS. The idea there isn't to create one remyelinating drug themselves. It's to improve the way researchers screen potential treatments and hopefully identify better conditions before moving them into expensive human trials. We also looked at organoid and so-called mini-brain research, where scientists are creating more sophisticated models of human nervous system tissue to study myelin damage and repair. And this week, there's another old drug appearing in the remyelination conversation, nipodopine. Nimodopine is normally used completely different area of medicine, particularly following certain types of bleeding around the brain. But a recent review looked at animal studies exploring nimodopine in models related to demyelination. Across those studies, researchers found signals suggesting it might reduce inflammation and demyelination, protect nerve fibers, and potentially support some aspects of myelin repair. But again, that's preclinical research. We're talking about animal models, not evidence that nimodopine repairs myelin in people with MS. And I actually think that's what makes this whole area interesting right now. There isn't one single remyelination strategy. Researchers are developing entirely new drugs. Some are repurposing medications that have already been used in humans for decades. Some are trying to understand the biology that prevents myelin from repairing itself. And others are improving the laboratory models used to identify which treatments are even worth taking into clinical trials. We're essentially watching a whole remyelination pipeline being built. And for me, this connects directly back to the first story this week. I mentioned that I've been on Ocrevus for years, and I haven't had new lesions during that time. That's incredibly valuable. Preventing new inflammatory damage matters enormously. But stopping new damage and repairing old damage are not the same thing. You can control inflammatory activity very well and still be living with consequences of damage that happened years earlier. That's why remyelination research matters so much. The dream isn't simply to slow and stop MS. It's to eventually restore some of what MS has taken away. We're obviously not there yet. Some of the approaches I mentioned are still in animal models. Some are preparing for their first human trials. Others are moving further into clinical development. And many promising remyelination ideas will probably fail along the way. It's how research works. But when you step back and look at how all these stories come together, something interesting is happening. We're no longer talking about one experimental remyelination drug every few years. We're seeing multiple strategies, multiple technologies, and research groups. So it's trying to solve the same fundamental problem. How do you protect the nervous system from new damage? And how do you help repair the damage that's already there? For people living with MS, that second half may ultimately be one of the most important challenges in the entire field.